Now at 5, Pitt State announces a multi-million-dollar project coming to downtown Pittsburgh. Plus, a new warning about mercury levels in some canned tuna. And
President Biden takes his State of the Union message on the road, sharing his plans to strengthen Social Security. I'm Nicole D'Antonio on Capitol Hill with the key points from his trip to Tampa and the Republican response.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A big announcement from Pitt State this afternoon, a $50 million project that will the university's footprint in the Block 22 neighborhood. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The school says the keystone for that district will be a new building for the Kels College of Business at 5th and Broadway on the property currently leased by BMO Harris Bank. Project also includes the redevelopment of the historic Bass Hotel, the tallest building in southeast Kansas. In addition, the university will partner with the Colonial Fox Theater to share space in a 2-story pavilion already planned by the theater to be built on the empty lot owned by the Fox. Of the total $50 million cost, the Pitt State University Foundation already has $7 million in hand, contributed by donors for the Kels College of Business portion. The university this week learned it's also getting a $12.5 million grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce. Private-public partnerships will be sought to shore up the gap. Construction is slated to start in 2024 with classes beginning in 2026. A pet food factory in Miami, Oklahoma will soon have a new owner. Nestle Purina Pet Care announced plans to buy Red Collar Pet Foods in Miami. Purina has worked with the Red Collar team since 2022 to co-manufacture several pet treats under its Purina and Zooks brands. Red Collar says the sale underscores the quality of the Miami operations team. The Miami factory will be the 22nd Purina owned and operated facility nationwide. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Thank you much, Dow. It was a beautiful day across the area, a little bit on the chilly side this morning, but temperatures warmed up pretty nicely into the 50s. Radar is clear right now. However, that's going to be changing as we go into the overnight hours. But this evening looks pretty good. Temperatures dropping through the 40s all the way down to 30 degrees by tomorrow morning, along with some snow. And looking down the lane, we do have that morning snow to talk about, as well as a sunny Saturday and a windy Sunday and some rainy hearts. And I'll tell you all about that when we come back in just a little bit.
See you soon. Ottawa County employers are hosting a job fair this afternoon. There is still time to get there if you hurry. Organizers say a recent meeting stressed the need to connect people looking for a job with local employers. Businesses from a variety of industries are there and ready to hire.
We've got a pretty good mix of employees. We have people here that are looking for different forms of nurses. We have people that are looking to fill production type jobs. Forklift operators, things of that nature, lead operators. We have casinos that are represented here today. We also have retail outlets that are here. So we've got a little bit of everything.
The job fair continues until 6 p.m. at the Miami Civic Center. President Biden traveled to Tampa, Florida, where he warned again about what he says are Republican plans to cut Social Security and Medicare. In his State of the Union address on Tuesday, the president stirred up Republicans by saying some GOP lawmakers are proposing cuts to the programs millions of Americans rely on for health care and retirement income. Reporter Nicole D'Antonio has details.
In Tampa, President Biden doubled down on his vow to protect Social Security and Medicare while accusing Republicans of planning to cut funding for the programs.
I know that a lot of Republicans, their dream is to cut Social Security and Medicare. Well, let me say this. If that's your dream, I'm your nightmare.
The president's visit to Florida with its large population of retirees comes as he gets closer to launching an expected re-election campaign.
The number of seniors living in poverty has plummeted since Social Security was created. And now these guys want to cut it.
President Biden kicked off the war of words over the costly entitlement programs during Tuesday's State of the Union address here on Capitol Hill.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Well, I'm glad to see, and I tell you, I enjoy conversion, as we all apparently agree. Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be started.
Republicans say Mr. Biden is mischaracterizing their proposals and intentions.
We aren't planning to cut Social Security, and because I called him a liar on the House floor, we settled that issue right there at the State of the Union.
GOP Senator Rick Scott of Florida put forward the so-called sunset idea for all federal legislation to expire every 5 years if it's not reapproved.
Maybe he's changed his mind. Maybe he's seen the Lord.
Scott accuses President Biden of lying about his plan. On Thursday, he invited the president to debate him on the issue. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Social Security Administration says in 2023, an average of almost 67 million Americans per month will receive a Social Security benefit, with total benefits paid adding up to more than $1 trillion for the year. Kansas City Chiefs fans are everywhere in the 4 states right now, but you know what? We can't forget about those Philadelphia Eagles fans. There are a few locally. In a sea of red, one Joplin teacher is cheering for a different team. Tim Gubera grew up in Joplin and is, yes, you guessed it, a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He knows he's in Chiefs territory and shows his team spirit kind of discreetly.
Oh, as long as I can remember. I actually thought the Joplin Eagles were the Philadelphia Eagles, and growing up here in Joplin, I thought I was going to end up playing for that team that I was watching, but I was a little wrong on that one.
I guess so. Guevara says his family is split with both Eagles and Chiefs fans. Still ahead, what a Consumer Report study finds concerning mercury levels in some canned tuna. Plus, new research on protecting the newborns from COVID. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, a new Consumer Reports investigation finds there may be more mercury in canned tuna than you realize. It's important to note that those mercury levels are within FDA standards, which currently say pregnant people can eat canned tuna in small quantities. Bradley Blackburn has more on why limiting exposure to mercury is important.
Eating fish has many health benefits, but fish can also contain mercury, which in high amounts can be harmful. Possible health risks from mercury include impaired brain function, loss of smell, and developmental delays in children.
If you have a high mercury level while the brain is developing in a fetus, there can be cognitive issues later in life. So we're very cautious in a developing brain. So that is young children and pregnant women especially need to keep mercury away from those neurons that are developing.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says certain fish have more mercury.
It's the larger fish and the deeper fish where you get the mercury. Swordfish, tuna, and other big deep fish have higher levels of mercury. Very little mercury, for example, in salmon and trout and other smaller fish that are at the surface.
So for typical adults, it's best not to eat those fish too often.
You can have 1 to 3 servings a week of tuna, and as an adult, it would be very safe.
Dr. Agus says moderation is key. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
It's estimated that about 8% of pregnant women in the U.S. have a mercury level that might affect the brain development of the child. 2 doses of the COVID vaccine during pregnancy seems to offer effective protection to infants against infection and hospitalization. Researchers in Canada say protection against the Omicron variant was greatest when a mother received a second vaccine dose in the later stages of pregnancy. New research suggests having a job makes a big difference to cancer patients' physical and emotional well-being. A study from the University of Chicago found that brain and spine cancer patients who were unemployed reported significantly more pain, discomfort, depression, and anxiety than patients who were employed. And a new study of children ages 11 to 16 finds long-term exposure to particulate matter, which are tiny air pollutants that come from car exhaust fumes, was associated with higher blood pressure, especially in girls. Interestingly, researchers in London also found a different pollutant. Nitrogen dioxide was linked to lower blood pressure. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, advice for controlling your family's home utility bills.
You're going to need the heater tonight with temperatures dropping into the 30s and also a chance of snow. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. Well, friends, we got through one round of snow late last night, especially for our friends and viewers up in the northwestern parts of our viewing area. Now we're getting ready for the next wave of snow coming in. Right now, no snow in Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just some clouds, stratocumulus clouds out there and lots of sunshine. This afternoon, we made it up into the 40s and 50s across the area. 54 was the high in Joplin after starting out at 35. A beautiful sunset shaping up for right now. And that was above the normals of 48 and 27. You wouldn't know it with snow on the way, but that's what we're looking at. Yesterday we were dealing with rain and lots of it, especially along and south of I-44. Several places got several inches, especially in Delaware, Benton, and McDonald counties where there was some flash flooding as a result. Radar is clear right now, but that's going to be changing over the next 12 to 24 hours as we go through time. We're going to watch this next storm system that's now organizing over the high plains. You can see yesterday's storm system now rapidly pulling up into upper Michigan, taking with it that round of snow. Here comes the next one. And then behind me, here's another system that's going to impact our area as we move into the early part of next week. Beautiful sunset right now with some crepuscular rays out there with a temperature of 53 degrees. It feels like 53, no wind chill really. A wind of 8 miles per hour, and the dew point is 36 on the hour. Temperatures right now are generally in the 40s up towards the north, 50s down to the south. You can see the cold air starting to spill in now from the north in anticipation of that next storm system. But at least today we're about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago, so that was a positive thing. Precipitation chances, well, as we go through the overnight hours, that's when the chances of snow starts to increase across the area, especially for the morning rush hour. Don't think it's going to be a travel problem. That's the good news. If any accumulations do occur, they're generally going to be on the light side. Maybe a tenth or so from around Pittsburgh to Columbus to Chautauqua, Veneta. Higher amounts the further south and east you go. Maybe here in Joplin around 1/4 of an inch, mainly on grassy surfaces. Not really expecting a lot of travel problems, and that's just what we like to see. Breaking it down for you, we're going to go through time. Tonight at midnight, snow will start to break out across southwestern parts of our viewing area along the Kansas-Oklahoma border with temperatures in the 30s. Then this expands and moves to the east as we go through the morning rush hour. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s with snow flying, especially along and south of I-44 by about 7. Then that system moves away and we see cooler temperatures in the afternoon with highs in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees on northerly winds. Then as we go into Saturday morning, temperatures are going to be in the 20s and teens, especially up towards the north with 19 in Yates Center. Then Saturday afternoon looks great with temperatures in the 40s and 50s with light and variable winds, and that continues into Sunday with a little bit warmer lows, generally in the 20s on south winds. Over the next 7 days, here's what we're looking for. Nice weekend. 56 on Sunday for Super Bowl Sunday, a nice day to be outside or in front of the TV set. And then on Tuesday, that's when the next chance of rain comes in. And yes, another winter mix is possible late Wednesday into early Thursday. Lots of uncertainty still in the forecast though, especially as we go into the outer periods. But right now we're going to go on the cold side.
We don't want the cold necessarily, but a lot of places still would welcome some more precipitation.
Absolutely, we definitely need that, especially in southeast Kansas.
Thanks, Sam. Just ahead, Southwest Airlines faces tough questions on Capitol Hill about why thousands of passengers were left stranded. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Southwest Airlines is on Capitol Hill today where a top executive apologized for a travel fiasco that stranded thousands of flyers over the holidays. But in testimony before a Senate committee, the carrier was accused of ignoring warnings and valuing investors over passengers. Nearly 17,000 flights were canceled in an operational failure that went on for more than a week, while passengers were unable to rebook or reach customer service.
It took hours to reach a live person, if they ever reached a live person at all.
There was no amount of people we could have put in place to handle all the calls at that time because of the scale of the disruption.
For years, our pilots have been sounding the alarm about Southwest's inadequate crew scheduling technology and outdated operational processes.
Southwest says it's already making upgrades to its technology, but the root causes of its meltdown, they say, will take longer to fix. It's been a mild winter for a lot of Americans, but you wouldn't know it from your energy bills due to supply shortages amplified by Russia's war on Ukraine. Take a look at this. Natural gas is estimated to be up almost 29% from the last fiscal year. Heating oil about 27%, electricity more than 10%. Nancy Chen has some tips on how to cut your costs.
The oil bill, it went up $160
per month.
per month.
Bob Duncan and his wife Allison recently retired, but as their energy bills have spiked, the Connecticut couple has had to re-budget their spending and 401k.
What do you do in that situation?
We call up our money manager and ask for more money.
They also called Chris Villanueva, a house technician who audits energy use. He says air escaping through window and door cracks alone can cost homeowners hundreds of dollars a year.
What are you testing here?
So we're testing here the air leakage from the house to hopefully help keep the warm air in the winter.
Now that you have this going, where do you go next?
Now we just walk through the house, check every room, and see what air leaks we find.
Great, let's do it.
Plugging leaky windows and doors and even interior door frames can prevent heating systems from running excessively.
You can put your hand to it and actually feel the air coming in.
Oh, I do.
Villanueva also recommends setting the thermostat between 65 and 68 degrees, switching to LED light bulbs, and improving insulation. But some other energy-draining culprits may not be as obvious. Known as energy vampires, they could account for up to 20% of your electric bill.
We always encourage homeowners to unplug anything that's not being used.
75% of appliance energy use comes from when they're off, including this coffee maker.
When I hear Bob talk about how much his energy bill goes up, it makes it feel like you have no power as a homeowner, but this makes it feel like there are little things that you can do.
Yeah, there's definitely little things that he can do to help improve it.
Tips to keep the heat in your home and off your wallet this winter. Nancy Chen, CBS News, Wilton, Connecticut.
Villanueva says other surprising sources that together can cost hundreds of dollars over a year include audio systems like stereos, desktop computers, and even cell phone and laptop chargers not in use. You might soon be able to stop saving up just to buy a carton of eggs. Wholesale egg prices have been dropping from their record high around the middle of December, but it might take some time for that to translate to prices at the grocery store. That's because of inflation and concern that the main reason prices went up in the first place, a massive outbreak of avian influenza, is still circulating. Twitter suffered a temporary glitch yesterday that left users worldwide unable to perform some basic functions on the platform, including tweet, send direct messages, or follow new accounts. The CEO, Elon Musk, blamed the problems on multiple internal and external issues simultaneously. Some former employees have raised concerns that the mass layoffs under Musk could cause the platform to suffer after workers with knowledge of Twitter's key systems were ousted. The Walt Disney Company is the latest big name to announce big layoffs. CEO Bob Iger says the company will cut about 7,000 jobs as part of a, quote, significant transformation. The job cuts amount to about 3% of the media and entertainment's global workforce. Iger, who returned as CEO in November, faces pressure to help boost the company's stock price, which has tumbled 24% in the last year. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, meet the all-female flight crew set to make history before kickoff at this year's Super Bowl. Then on KOAM News at 6, the potential impact of that $50 million downtown Pittsburgh project involving PSU. Plus, moms-to-be are scrambling as the Southwest Missouri Birthing Center prepares to close. And a local coach offers some advice on sportsmanship as we near Super Bowl Sunday. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Some precipitation chances ahead of us.
We have a little bit of snow coming in later on tonight and tomorrow morning, but then we have sunny weather for the weekend, including the Super Bowl with a high of 56. Then some showers late Monday, and that rain continues into Tuesday for Valentine's Day, and then maybe a winter mix on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then colder a little bit after that. So we're going to be updating that forecast quite a bit over the next few days, especially the extended forecast.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.